Have you ever imagined having a ranch so big that it looks like a real empire in the middle of the desert? What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest stars opened the gates of his billion-dollar estate to the world? Val Kilmer, the eternal Iceman from Top Gun, has built a spectacular retreat in the heart of New Mexico, surrounded by breathtaking landscapes and a structure worthy of a movie king. But what makes this ranch so special? And why did he decide to open the doors of this rare jewel? Stay until the end to discover all the details. Speak up, guys. I am Juninho Mello, and you are in Celebrity Farm, the channel that takes you inside the most impressive farms in the world. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and activate the bell so you don't miss any news. And now, I want to see who is really committed to success. Comment now. I'm going to work and earn a lot of money, and one day I'll be able to buy a farm like the one owned by the eternal Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer has always been an enigmatic star. His career shined in iconic films such as Top Gun, Batman Forever, and The Saint. But few know that, away from the cameras, he also built a private empire in the middle of the New Mexico desert. His ranch, a gigantic property of more than 5,300 acres, was not just a haven for rest, but a true private sanctuary full of history, lush landscapes, and a discreet luxury that only the most attentive can perceive. But what makes this ranch so special? To understand this, we need to go back in time. Kilmer purchased this immense estate in the 1990s, at a time when Hollywood considered him one of the most versatile and talented actors of his generation. With his success in cinema, he decided to invest in a more reserved lifestyle, surrounded by mountains, rivers, and untouched nature. And that was how his private refuge was born, on the banks of the Rio Pecos, one of the most beautiful and preserved regions of the American Southwest. Kilmer's ranch wasn't just a place to escape the chaos of fame. He became deeply involved in the local culture and community, demonstrating a special affection for New Mexico. The actor even said in interviews that he felt a spiritual connection with the land and that the ranch represented a dream he always wanted to fulfill. But what exactly was this property like? And what details made it so unique? To begin with, the main house, it was a true masterpiece. With 7 bedrooms and 8.5 bathrooms, the residence offered all the comfort a Hollywood star could wish for. Built to harmoniously integrate into the surrounding landscape, the house had a rustic and sophisticated architecture at the same time, with large windows that allowed a spectacular view of the mountains and the river. The use of natural materials such as stone and wood reinforced the connection with nature and created a welcoming and imposing environment. In addition to the main house, the property had several cabanas spread across the land, which were used to welcome friends, family, and even guests during special seasons. Kilmer turned part of the ranch into an exclusive guest house where visitors could enjoy ecological trails, river fishing, and starry nights like few in the world. This decision was not by chance. He wanted to share the beauty and tranquility of the place with other people who also enjoyed country life. Another fascinating point of the ranch was its territorial extension. We are talking about more than 21 square kilometers of land full of native vegetation, trails, and cinematic landscapes. To give you an idea, this area is equivalent to more than 1,000 football fields. And it wasn't just a vast, empty land. There was 6 miles, approximately 9.6 kilometers, of riverbank, something extremely valuable for a desert property. Furthermore, Kilmer possessed grazing rights on state land, further expanding its influence in the region. But not everything was just success and tranquility. Over the years, Val Kilmer faced personal and financial challenges, which led him to make a difficult decision: selling a large portion of his ranch. In 2009, he put the property up for sale for an impressive $33 million. But due to market conditions, it ended up reducing the price to $18.5 million. In 2011, he sold most of the ranch to an oil and gas billionaire, but made a point of maintaining 14 acres to yourself, ensuring you could still enjoy your private getaway. But what happened to the property after that? Who are the new owners? And what remains of Val Kilmer's New Mexico empire? The sale of Val Kilmer's ranch marked a turning point in the actor's life. As much as he loved that land, circumstances forced him to give up much of his property. But who was the buyer of this immense farm, and what happened to the place after the sale? The ranch was acquired by a billionaire oil and gas executive who was enchanted by the vastness and potential of the land. The property, which previously served as a refuge for Kilmer, has undergone some transformations, but has maintained its essence. The new owner did not reveal major structural changes, but some areas were modernized and adapted to meet a profile of high-end buyers interested in exclusive properties in the American Southwest. However, Val Kilmer did not completely separate himself from the place. He made a point of keeping 14 acres for you, a small fraction compared to more than 5,300 acres original, but sufficient to preserve its connection to New Mexico. This piece of land contained its private residence, where he could still enjoy the tranquility and unique energy of the region. The decision to sell part of the ranch was not only financial, but also strategic. Kilmer was already facing health challenges, including a diagnosis of throat cancer, which impacted his career and forced him to step away from the spotlight for a while. Selling the property helped alleviate costs and allowed him to focus on his treatment and recovery. Still, Val Kilmer's passion for New Mexico never waned. He continued to be involved with the local community and even transformed part of the space into a retreat for artists and writers, where creative talents could find inspiration amidst the stunning desert landscapes. This initiative showed that for Kilmer, the ranch was more than just a property. It was a place of connection, expression, and renewal. Another factor that valued Kilmer's farm was its privileged location. New Mexico is known for its dramatic landscapes, endless blue skies, and sunsets that look like paintings. The presence of Rio Pecos, which cut through the property, offered a unique advantage: running water in the middle of an arid environment, something extremely valuable for any farm in the region. Additionally, the area surrounding the ranch had special appeal for nature and wildlife lovers. Hiking trails, impressive rock formations, and a diversity of fauna and flora were part of daily life there. Many of these landscapes served as inspiration for Kilmer in his artistic projects, including his paintings and writings. But what about the value of the ranch? Did Val Kilmer really lose money selling it? The answer may surprise. Although I initially listed the property for $33 million, he ended up closing the sale for around $18.5 million. This may seem like a large reduction, but when we consider the initial acquisition cost and the years of use of the land, the investment still proved to be positive. Furthermore, his decision to keep a portion of the land ensured that he would never have to say goodbye completely to his much-loved retreat. To understand the true importance of Val Kilmer's ranch, one must look beyond the financial value and explore his emotional connection to the property. New Mexico has always had a special meaning for the actor. Long before purchasing his ranch, Kilmer already demonstrated a strong connection to the region's history and culture. He often spoke about the unique energy of the place, describing New Mexico as a place of spiritual renewal and artistic inspiration. This connection was reflected in the way he managed his property. Kilmer didn't see the ranch just as an investment or a luxury retreat, but as a space for creation and contemplation. He used to welcome artists, writers, and filmmakers, transforming parts of the farm into a real retreat for creative minds. The idea was to provide an environment where people could reconnect with nature and find new forms of expression. But the ranch wasn't just a space for rest and art. He also had a historical and environmental value significant. Located in an area rich in biodiversity, the land was home to a variety of wild species and had preserved native vegetation. Kilmer invested in land conservation, ensuring that his property respected the region's ecological balance. Furthermore, the ranch was situated in an area with strong indigenous and Hispanic cultural roots. New Mexico has a long history linked to Native American people, and Kilmer showed great respect for that heritage. He even supported local cultural initiatives and participated in events that promoted the preservation of indigenous traditions. Another fascinating detail about Kilmer's ranch was its architecture and internal structure. The main house was designed to integrate with the surrounding environment, using local materials such as rustic wood and natural stones. The panoramic windows allowed for a stunning view of the desert and mountains, creating a setting that seemed straight out of a movie. The residence's interiors reflected the actor's personal taste, mixing elements of Old West with a contemporary touch. There were large fireplaces, carved wooden furniture, and a personal library filled with rare books and movie scripts. The house also had an art studio where Kilmer spent hours painting and writing, exploring his artistic streak away from the film sets. But perhaps the most surprising aspect of this ranch was the way it influenced Val Kilmer's own trajectory. During the years he lived there, he underwent profound transformations, both personal and professional. The isolation of the desert allowed him to step away from the frenzy of Hollywood and rediscover his passions. However, when financial and health challenges arose, Kilmer had to make difficult decisions. The sale of much of the ranch was a heavy blow, but it also represented a new chapter in your journey. He never completely moved away from New Mexico, retaining a portion of the property to continue his story there. And the big question that many ask themselves, is Val Kilmer's ranch still for sale? Currently, the part sold belongs to the oil sector billionaire, who maintained private ownership. Already, the 14 acres that Kilmer kept for himself, they continue to be a refuge for him, even after all the changes in his life. The story of Val Kilmer's ranch goes far beyond numbers and values. It is the story of a man who found a home, a sanctuary, and an inexhaustible source of inspiration in the desert. The story of Val Kilmer's ranch is a reflection of his personal journey. Over the course of his career, he went from a Hollywood star to a reclusive artist, searching for meaning and purpose beyond the screen. The ranch in New Mexico wasn't just a piece of land, it was the symbol of your independence and connection to something greater. From the moment he bought the property in the 90s, Kilmer saw its immensity as a refuge from the pressure of fame. There, he could be more than an actor. He could be an artist, a thinker, and a man in tune with nature. But, like everything in life, times changed, and circumstances led him to give up a large part of his private paradise. Selling the ranch wasn't just a financial decision. It was a chapter of transformation. Kilmer faced difficult challenges such as health issues and changes in his career, but he never lost the essence of who he was. By keeping 14 acres to yourself, he guaranteed that a part of his history would remain there, preserved forever. The most interesting thing is that, even after the sale of most of the ranch, the property continues to be a landmark in the world of celebrity farms. What was once a private retreat is now part of the legacy of one of cinema's most iconic actors. But this story raises an important question. What does success and wealth really mean? For many, having a gigantic ranch valued at millions of dollars is the pinnacle of achievement. But for Val Kilmer, true wealth has always been in freedom, in art, and in connection with the land. If there is one lesson we can take from this story, it is that the true value of a farm is not just in its numbers or its size, but in the impact it has on the lives of those who own it. Kilmer used his ranch as a creative sanctuary, as a place for reflection, and as a piece of the world where he could simply be himself. Now the question is for you. If you could have a ranch like this, how would you use that space? For rest? For business? Or for something even grander? The journey of Val Kilmer and his ranch in New Mexico shows us that a ranch can be much more than just land and buildings. For some, it is a $1 million investment. For others, a refuge, a dream come true, or even a point of transformation in life. In Kilmer's case, his ranch was all of that and more. Even though he sold most of the property, he ensured that a piece of its history remained there, surrounded by the beauty and energy of the desert. If you like this video and want to see more amazing farm stories, check out these 2 recommended videos on screen. I'm sure you will be surprised. And now, I want to see who really has a successful mindset. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You are part of the select group that seeks knowledge and inspiration. Comment now. I will be able to achieve all my dreams, to show that you are committed to your future. See you in the next video.